Hello, everybody. I'm the founder and president of the Scaale Group of companies. And I'll talk a little bit about Scaale later on, but also one of the companies, Cross-Border Angels, where we have about 150 investors worldwide. And what we do is we are spread out as an investor, but also we look at the global deal flow. So we do about between $1 million and $10 million Series A rounds. And it is extremely exciting to democratize and flatten the world of the global investment. And how did it started? So my story is that I grew up in India. I was born in Bombay. And I did my electrical engineering with computer sciences major. I did my management. But then I never worked anywhere. My first venture was right out of college. And within 1 year, so we were 4 co-founders. Within 1 year of my graduation, we could exit. At that time, we never called exit. We just sold the company at 12 times the outcome. The second company, which I started, was a manufacturing company. We were 2 co-founders and 8 investors. And in 4 years, we could take the company public, and we had a 10 times exit. Now, India is like, and I can understand, that Turkey is a really, melting pot of a lot of cultures and history. India is 10 times that, right? We have like 19 main languages where the script is not same. So very fascinating time. At the same time, I was getting frustrated in terms of what I could do, because at that time more than 60-70% of the purchase was government. And I just finished a book about American Dream. And they did the survey about what does the American dream mean. And there were 3 words were coming out: freedom, passion, and potential. So if you have a freedom to work on your passion, to reach your potential, that's American dream. If you think about it, that's a global dream. That's everybody's dream. That's an entrepreneur's dream. And so I was getting suffocated in India because the freedom was getting restricted. Even after I had an IPO, I had a very successful career, I moved to UK. And I did not realize that when I was committing my burn rate in pounds, it was not Indian rupees. So I had a failure. That was my first failure. But till that time, I did my IPO, everything, by the time I was 29. So I was very arrogant. The failure brought me down. It made me humble. And I think that onwards, I've done a few failures, but I've been much more humbler person. I think that failure was a fantastic learning curve for me. Then onwards, I moved to United States, and I did a manufacturing unit in advanced composites. And I did a lot of, I had a joint venture in Germany, I had a manufacturing plant in Sharjah, continued the business in India. And then very successful ventures. I had about 7 companies, all in brick and mortar. But I've been using internet since 1989. Prodigy was the first internet company. I was in Chicago at that time. And what I realized that earlier I was making money from information arbitrage. That means one country did not have information about other country. And I used to use that information difference, arbitrage, to my advantage. And as the information technology was coming through, now I can articulate that, but I couldn't, it was going on my mind that what we really have to create is now knowledge arbitrage. That means there will be so much information that we have to connect the dots and make something out of that. So I sold all my companies because I was getting really bored at what I was doing in brick and mortar. I sold all my companies between 2000 and 2005, and I started the Scaale Group of companies. And mainly because earlier I was doing more technology business. And when I say technology, it was in a manufacturing technology. I was working with US Defense, General Motors, and many companies around the world. But then I realized that, the advance of technology was going so fast that we have a lot more technology than what we adopt. So I wanted to focus now on new business models because there is a much better return on investment on new business model than new technology. You take any product, only 30% is the raw material, the manufacturing cost. 70% is everything else. So even if you invent the greatest and best to save manufacturing costs, it's part of 30% only. And also the deployment of technology. There is a really good book by Alvin Toffler, Revolutionary Wealth, and he says that take a corporate, you take a highway, compare that to adoption technology highway. Corporate adopt the technology at about 60, 70 miles speed. We personally at 50 miles speed. Education adults at 10 miles speed, politics at 3 miles speed, healthcare maybe 2 miles speed, and then religion, which is in the reverse direction. And we all have to be on the same highway. That's why the disconnect. That's why there are a lot of technology adoption which is not happening because of the vested interest. So that's why I started this group of companies. And within the investment also, angel investment has to be usually is limited to 20-mile radius of where you live. And so for what I learned out of this thing is that, my first best decision was to be an entrepreneur. I was 17 years old, and then my father was a bank manager, my mother was a teacher. And I think, I don't know how it got me into it, but that was the first decision. I failed fast. That was my second learning curve. Then I believe that now that cash is king. I really get frustrated when I look at the companies and present it to us where they don't have either cash or they don't have traction. Really, we used to build manufacturing plants, by raising cash or having the first customer. Your friends may not be the best people to talk to your ideas. I was in Chicago and I used to talk about new ideas and people used to look at me like I'm a weird guy. I had to move to San Francisco because I'm home. Everybody's weird like me. So you really need to talk to your ideas with not the people who you think they are friends and you want to throw at them. You should go to the right circles to share our ideas. Your market may not be in your backyard. We heard today Dave talking about the dairy farm. Now, who has the largest dairy industry in the world? India. So if that company really wants to go after the global market, that's the market they can go after. And traction, as I was saying, is most important, then business, and then you can establish a brand. So Scaale is about applying global context. We apply, we look at global capital, global sales, global talent, global innovation, and global exit. And this is how you can do it. So look at Turkey. Turkey, for example, I've shown the beta market. Why? You take Istanbul, not Turkey, take Istanbul. That's a $300 billion market, 300 billion GDP, 14 million people. And now you can compare that with Israel, right? We heard today the comparison between Israel and Turkey, but consider Istanbul alone as a city-state. I've divided the whole world into 600 city-states. Politics doesn't mean anything. Because if you win this city-state to city-state around the world, that's your market. You can exit by just going after 4 or 5 city-states. So you can have the beta market here, you need a local angel, then you can go to Silicon Valley, but don't ignore the other markets around the world. And so it depends on what you do. And I think I will leave it at that. My time is up. Yeah, thank you.